I'm going to ask a question. It's probably a fairly stupid one to the audience, but I assume, give us a cheer if you are, that most of you guys read young adult literature. Give us a cheer if you do. Okay, I'm going to ask a question to the panel as a whole that has been receiving a lot of press lately. Guys, there's been a bit of a hoo-ha recently about the use of profanity or swearing in young adult literature. How do you feel about it? Let's start with Rainbow and work our way this way.
Well, there's a lot of cursing. There's more cursing in my young adult books than there is in my adult books. That's because the teens that I know curse more than the adults that I know. And situationally, different characters curse more. I guess it depends on what kind of book you're writing. I'm writing books about people who feel real. And so they're in situations where people are really swearing. In Eleanor and Park, the swearing is really intentional because it starts on a bus, and it's a very rough place for these two characters. And the swearing and some of the, the insults, it really just lets you feel. I mean, on my bus, people were much more vulgar than anything that ever happens in my books. So I guess for me, I'm just writing something that feels real. I'm not trying to write an idealized version of the world.
Yeah, I think definitely what Rainbow said, like people swear, I mean, ask my parents, I swear far too much, but with writing, there's a time and a place. I mean, obviously you don't want to put swear words in just to shock people when they don't need to be there, but if there is a place in the dialogue where your character would swear in this case, I don't think that it's particularly helpful to cut it out to spare some children, because let's face it, kids have heard swearing. It's on TV, it's on the radio, it's on the streets, everywhere. It's not like you're going to get teenagers or even like preteens who don't know what swear words mean and don't know what they are. I mean, I know like 6-year-olds who know more swear words than I do, and it's kind of terrifying. But also, I don't see swear words as a particularly bad thing, so long as you don't overuse them. Like they have a situation where you can, that it's fine to swear and it's appropriate. But it's when people swear, usually when they don't really know what the word means, they're just using it because they've heard other people use it, that it tends to get a bit iffy. But I don't think that censorship in books needs to be quite as strict as it can be, because trying to hide swearing, like anything with kids, if you try and tell them don't do this, they will immediately go and do it. So if you tell them don't swear, don't use these words, as soon as they're out of their parents' earshots, it's swearing all over the place because they think that makes them an adult. So I think it's going to happen. You need to kind of accept that, and just books without swearing where there should be swearing, it just looks weird.
Jim?
For those of you who've read any of my Kira Hudson series will know there's a character in there called Potter, funny enough. He's not a wizard, but he does swear a lot. And I get a lot of emails about Potter. They call him Potty Mouth Potter, because I think in the last book I wrote, I've counted 4 swear words in just one sentence that he spoke. But that's just him. That's just that character, and just going back to what the others said, Lucy and Rainbow said, it kind of fits that character. If I was writing about an old maid and she's shuffling through the corridors carrying, a tray of tea, I'm not going to have a swear in every 5 minutes. It's don't put it in just for the sake of putting swearing in. If it's part of that character, it's part of that situation, then I think it really, really works. And I've had emails from people saying, I stopped reading the so-and-so series because none of the young people in it speak like me and my friends. I don't know where these kids go to school or what they do, but they definitely don't speak like any. But in your books, they do actually speak the way we do, and I can relate to that. So, it's a mixture of both, really. I do agree we should have swearing in the books if you want the books to be believable and if it's part of that character.
You're all talking balderdash. Right, any questions from the audience? Let's go, please come down. Here we go, she's coming through, and like an Olympic torchbearer, I present her with the microphone.
If you were in Harry Potter, which house would you be in?
Slytherin. Not even a hesitation. Slytherin, definitely.
Slytherin? No, Gryffindor, I think.
Well, I thought that I was Ravenclaw for a long time, so I have a lot of Ravenclaw gear, like a Ravenclaw pennant, a t-shirt, and I have like a keychain. And then when Pottermore happened, I sorted myself, and I got Gryffindor, and I was really upset about it. I was like, oh, everybody wants to get in Gryffindor, And I feel like that's where all like the pain in the ass people are going to be hanging out, in the Gryffindor common room. And then, so I kept it a secret, and then a friend of mine had an intervention where he was like, you just need to accept that you are a Gryffindor, and here is why. So I'm a Gryffindor. Rawr.
Which house would you be in?
Generally Slytherin, but I got
Generally?
I got Ravenclaw on Pottermore.
So J.K. Rowling thinks you would be a Ravenclaw, and you reject that.
But I'm in Death Eater today, so I think I'd pick the Slytherin.
The thing is with Pottermore though, I did it multiple times because I signed up when it was still in beta with like every email I had available because they were only giving out to a certain few. And eventually I think I've done it about 4 times and I got a different result every time. So clearly I'm just a massive hat stall.
Captain America. Any further questions? Thank you very much. Any further questions from the audience? Please come down. Here we go.
My question's for Rainbow. In Landline, there's a magic phone. If you could phone the past, who would you phone? Would you change anything?
So there's a magic phone in my book Landline. So if I had a magic phone, would I try to change anything? When you start writing YA books, maybe you found this is true, people ask you all the time what advice you would give to your younger self. And I really hate answering that question because I just feel like there's nothing I could say to my younger self at all. Just like, keep your head up, I guess.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no, I would just be like, thank you for staying alive. Stay the course, kid. I think I would use a magic phone. I lost a friend last year who I was not expecting to lose, and I would definitely use that phone to call her and tell her how much I loved her.
We have a question over here. If you'd like to come forward. Looking fabulous.
This is for Rainbow. My sister, she's a very good fan, and when is your new book gonna come out?
She's a very big fan. Well, I have a new book. Which book does she like? Do you know?
No.
No, all of them. I'm sure she loves them all. Well, my new book, Landline, just came out, and I have another book coming out next fall. It'll be another YA book, a fantasy. Tell her about a fantasy. Thank you.
Guys, we've heard a bit about your writing. Let's find a bit more about the people behind the words. What is the one geeky, fangirly, fanboy thing you have yet to fulfill in your life?
I think I've got most of them covered, to be honest.
There's got to be one.
Cons, cosplay, well, I think mostly just my dream cosplay list is 1.5 miles long. So to eventually make all of those, but the problem is I make some and then I add another 3, and the list just gets longer and longer. San Diego Comic Con. One day I will go to San Diego Comic Con and it will be glorious.
Well done. Rainbow.
I really want to write for Marvel Comics.
Oh!
Yeah, like I'm desperate.
I think there's a
I'm
Mr.
desperate.
Stan Lee in the building.
Really? Mr. Lee?
If you say it loud enough.
Right.
Stan, Rainbow wouldn't mind writing a comic if you're about.
Specifically the X-Men, right there.
Oh, right, there we go. Tim, what about yourself?
Mine would be to meet Carrie Fisher, and I didn't actually see her over there, but she was about this close to me, but I didn't have the courage to go over and say
Carrie
hello.
Fisher, if you're in the room, there is an author here, what loves you? Would you please come over and give him a kiss or something if you're about? That'd be nice, thank you.
I have a picture of her on the wall where I sit and write.
He's got a picture of you on his wall. Anything else?
I do too.
And I have an action figure, and it's like 12 inches.
And he's got one of your little dollies. If you'd like to come over, we'd be very grateful. Tim will be very happy. Any questions for the audience, from the audience, before I get carried away? Back there, come on, missus, let's have you down here. It's not Carrie Fisher, no. Oh, he's choosing the scenic route. Here we go, here he comes, like a bolt of lightning. Your question, sir.
Who would you like to ask? Do nice with that? Rainbow. So, Rainbow, you've written many young adult and adult books. So, what differences in the writing process do you write for young adult or adult?
So I write for young adults and for adults, and is there any difference in the writing process? From my standpoint, there isn't a difference. I don't go like, I better put the One Direction on because I'm writing for teenagers now. Because I don't even know if teenagers are actually still listening to One Direction. But for me, I just sit down and write, and it's just that sometimes I want to write about teenagers and sometimes I want to write about adults. I do like writing about teenagers though, because I think you feel things more deeply when you are 15, 16, 17, like the pain and also the joy. I think everything is very deep and there are heights. So I like writing those moments. But when it comes to writing, I don't find that I'm doing anything differently at all.
13.
13. Thank you.
Tim, your latest book, Flashes, the lead character, Charlie, she's clairvoyant. Now, you've got a police background, as you said. Have you had any experience of working with people with that ability? Have they ever been used in your knowledge for solving crimes, that sort of thing?
If it was, it'd never be admitted to. But no, I mean the reason why Charlie's clairvoyant and she sees dead people, but it's more than that because she receives text messages from the dead and she FaceTimes with people from the dead as well. So it's more than kind of is a clairvoyancy as well, but it's also using modern technology to connect the dead rather than a Ouija board and stuff like that. And the police angle from it comes from the fact that the guy that she meets in the story is a young detective who's trying to solve the murder of a young girl that's
Can I ask how do you research something like precognition?
I don't know. I mean, I think we've all had that experience, haven't we? You know, just before the phone rings, we think, you know, Harry Fisher's going to ring me, and the next thing the phone rings. But you know, we all kind of have that, and you know, sometimes we can preempt what our friends are going to say, or you know, we kind of finish the sentence for them. So I think it's in there. So I mean, I didn't really do any. I didn't go and watch Carrie or anything like that. But no, I didn't do any really. It's kind of just a gut feeling, and I wanted to make it different from other clairvoyant books out there. So that's why I brought in the use of like technology, like FaceTiming with a dead person, texting a dead person, hearing them on the phone, and when she's spoken to by somebody in the grave, you can hear all the gravel in the back of their throat, and you can hear them scratching on the lid of the coffin and stuff like that. So it's a lot more than just.
It's a comedy then, is it?
It is. It could be. It could be. Yeah.
Now, it would be very rude of me to continue with this Q&A session without acknowledging Lucy's cosplay. Lucy, would you give us a twirl, dear?
I might fall off the stage in these heels, but I'll
That'd
keep
be
it
brilliant.
going.
That'd be perfect. There's something in the camera. Now then, look at that, folks. Look at that. It's Captain America. How cool is that? Now, Lucy, you've already suggested that you're part of the cosplay community. Can I ask, what's the attraction? What does it do for you? What do you think it does for people who are involved in this phenomenon?
Cosplay for me has always been a very social hobby. Like all of my best friends, pretty much my entire friend group, I met through cosplay and through conventions. And it just makes it very easy to talk to someone at a convention when they're in costume or you're in costume. You've immediately got the conversation starter of, hey, I like your cosplay, how did you make such and such, or did you make or did you buy? Anything, you can talk about anything once you've got that start. And it's challenging in a fun way to develop skills, to start creating more difficult costumes and learning new things. Like, if you don't know something that you need to know to make your costume, chances are you will know someone who does, or you will know someone who knows someone who does. So you can either outsource and commission something, or just be like, teach me your ways, and beg and plead for them to pass their knowledge on to you. And
so do you got to go in at sort of Padawan level and wait for some old Jedi master to teach you the ways of
pretty
sewing?
much that's basically it. Or you just learn through trial and error. I mean, I haven't had any formal instruction. I didn't do like textiles or art or anything. I was terrible at art in school. My mum always had to sew. She made a lot of her own clothes when she was younger. So when I started having an interest in making costumes, she was like, okay, I'll show you how the basics of using a sewing machine and using a pattern and things like that. And then I just took it from there, trial and error. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, try something else. And just slowly start reaching a bit further and testing myself and trying new things. And it's a lot of fun, and you feel very pleased and very proud of yourself when you finish a costume and it comes off how you wanted it. I mean, there's a lot of sort of rage and swearing and crying in the construction process, but once you get to the end and you've got the finished costume, it's a really good feeling.
And are you hot?
I'm so hot, I'm dying. I'm overheating quite a lot, and I'm wishing I'd loosened this corset a little bit.
Oh, bless you. Rainbow, back to the sort of the Harry Potter thing. Within your book Fan Girl, you've created a sort of Harry Potter-esque backdrop in the Simon Snow thing.
Right.
Now, Can I ask, will you ever write the Simon Snow books?
Yeah, I think I would write a Simon Snow book. Yeah, not exactly. I mean, in my book, there's two versions of Simon Snow. You have Simon Snow as written by Gemma T. Leslie, which is one version of Simon Snow, the canon, and then my character writes her own fan fiction. I think I would like to write about, I really want to write about Baz, actually. Baz is the bad guy, and I love him. He's maybe my second favorite character I've ever written, so I would really like to write about Simon Baz. I've actually started writing about Simon Baz a little bit.
Oh, look forward to it.
Yeah, can you please write Kat's version because I ship it.
You should it?
I ship it.
Thank you.
Any questions from the audience while we're here? Yes, go. Please. Here we go.
Nice and loud.
Okay, so fans have always influenced the fiction that's been published. For example, Conan Doyle, I think he ran the right to Sherlock. But do you think that with modern technology, fans are having more influence on the fiction that gets published?
Are fans having more influence on what is published these days?
I think fans are maybe having more influence with publishers. I mean, I think publishers are paying attention to what fans really get into and what they go crazy for. I think as an author, it can be tricky because you sort of want to distance yourself a little bit. I know my friend Lee Bardugo just finished her trilogy, and she was really scared and was trying not to listen to fans because fans get very invested in how a trilogy ends or how a series ends. And in a way, you don't want to be too afraid or too concerned with the fans as you're writing. I'd always planned on writing an Eleanor and Park sequel, but I think now I'm not sure that I would because I almost feel like people are invested as much as I am, and it's scary. It's really scary. You don't want to disappoint people.
Tim, your books are very fan-led. Can I ask you to take this question next, if that's all right?
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the fans of my work, I wouldn't be sitting here now. Because it's as simple as that. I mean, I tried for years to get my work published, and no one would take my work on. And I got a constant stream of rejections coming through the post, which I think most writers go through at some point. And so, in the end, I decided to self-publish my own work. And it was only because of the Kira Hudson series, and so for a self-published writer, I mean, I sold over 300,000 books of that now on my own, and that drew attention to publishers, so it was only the fans who kept tweeting about my books, who kept coming onto Facebook, who kept buying my books, the fans that kept telling their mums and their friends at school and tweeting. If it hadn't have been for those fans, then I'd be sitting at the Milton Keynes this afternoon, probably writing in my little writing cave and hoping one day that I'd be published, but it was because of the fans of my work, and I'm so grateful to them. I put all their names in the back of all my books, and all the books I've had published now by traditional publishers. I asked the fans to come onto Facebook, and if they want their name to get back, then I put it in there because I genuinely wouldn't be here now, and I really mean that. I genuinely wouldn't be sitting here now if it wasn't the fans who want my books.
Lucy, how have fans influenced what you're writing?
Well, I mean, I've obviously only written the one book so far, so...
I'm a fan. Does that not count?
I think it's difficult because I, as an author, I have an idea, I know how things are going, and I don't want to start having other people's input change my ideas because then it's not really true to the story. And I think it can be quite tempting to be like, oh, the fans will love this, so I'll put it in, even if it's not really what you originally had in mind, and it wouldn't quite suit the characters and the story. And I mean, through writing Take Back the Skies, even before publishing or anything, for anyone who has read it, the ending, I got to that point and I was just like, everyone's going to hate this, but it needs to be done. And true to form, after every friend who read the book, I could tell when they got to a certain point because I got a text through, how dare you, we're not speaking anymore. So I think you just have to accept that you're you're not going to please everyone, you can't cater to every single fan.
Have you lost a lot of friends writing this first
They
book?
came back, eventually. It was a bit rocky at times, but yeah, they came back. I think you can't cater to everyone and try and please everyone. So in the end, you only have to work on pleasing yourself, and if you're happy with the story that you've written, then just accept that, let it into the world, and take the reviews and the comments as they come, and try not to be swayed by what you think would make it more popular, regardless of whether it's true to the story.
I do think that you can kind of play with fans though too. You're wearing a Sherlock t-shirt, and I was thinking about the last season of Sherlock and how there are definitely things in there that are directly for fans. I mean, if you are a fan of that show, they're making jokes and references, and they're playing with you. They're kind of toying with you sometimes. And I think that's kind of a cool part of social media and the conversation, is that you do kind of, like in my book, Landline, I've hidden an Easter egg. I've hidden, like, if you want to know what happens to two characters from Fangirl, it's in Landline, but no one else who hasn't read Fangirl would ever catch that. But it's like a game I'm playing with fans. It's fun.
Thank you very much. Can I just ask, we're using a word now that is relatively new on the scene, fandom. What does being a fan and being part of a group of fans, what does it do for you?
Well, fandom for me, obviously starting fan fiction from a young age, it was where I got most of my conversation from. So I didn't go to school a lot of the time because of health. So it's where I met all of my friends, and it's just really great to be part of a community where you know that you've got something in common with everyone there, something to talk about, and you all love whatever it is that you're in the fandom of just as much as each other, and there is someone else who understands how much you love that thing and won't look at you like you're a crazy person if you end up spending 20 minutes talking about how amazing it is. So I think it's very nice knowing that there are other people who have the same feelings about fictional things, whatever. There are fandoms for everything now. I mean, anyone on Tumblr, there's like the bedroom fandom and the chair fandom, and it's getting kind of ridiculous, but it's nice to be able to sort of name yourself as I am in the Harry Potter fandom, therefore I'm being completely open about my love for Harry Potter. Fellow Harry Potter fans, come talk to me about it. And it's just, again, like cosplay, it's just a very social thing and makes it easy to talk to people that you wouldn't necessarily talk to otherwise. Like, the internet helps, obviously, because you can talk to people from all over rather than just the people that you know directly.
Tim, what about you? What do you do? What does being a fan of something give you?
I think it's like Lucy said, it makes you feel part of a group, whatever that group is, whatever you like. I mean, sometimes get called geeks, and which I know you understand about from your books, but it's being a part of something, it's feeling a part of something, and sharing ideas and your imagination, which I think is the most important thing there is.
Remember?
I also think if you're someone who loves fiction, that we sort out our lives, our real lives in fiction. We become who we are through fiction and through what we love and the characters we love and the stories we love, and engaging with those stories. I think fandom is a way of engaging with those stories and beyond just the experience of reading them. When I was younger, you would watch the same video over and over, or you'd read the same book over and over, but you're kind of processing on your own. I think what fandom lets you do is continue the experience and continue processing.
Yeah, well, it's like you said when you finished the last Harry Potter film, and then you went online and read fan fiction, which I also did after finishing the last Harry Potter film. And it's like you say, it doesn't have to end past canon. It can keep going. You can explore the same characters in all sorts of situations. And I mean, the amount of times I stay up till 3 in the morning making Harry Potter headcanons with my friends over Facebook chat because we're bored, and that's just what we like talking about. And it's just great to extend canon and explore sort of your own creation within that world and have people actually get it when you do that, rather than just being like, you're a weirdo.
Understood. Look, we are slowly running out of time. Are there any questions from the audience? Please come on down. Oh, sounds like a game show host. Come on down!
And you said that you enjoy fan fiction, but what do you feel about people making fan fiction of your books?
I'm thrilled that people are writing fan fiction about. The question was, how do we feel about fan fiction from our books? I think it's great. I don't read it because most of the fan fiction about my books are about Eleanor and Park and about Simon and Baz, and those are all characters I would like to write about some more. So I kind of don't want to muddy up my own headcanon. I don't want somebody to accuse me of like, you totally stole that from my fic. My coffee shop AU, you stole it. So I don't read it, but I'm thrilled that anyone, because I've been that inspired by something that I wanted to tell my own story. The idea that anyone would be inspired enough by one of my books to want to keep that world and keep going, it's really exciting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I haven't seen any Take Back the Skies fan fiction yet, but I think when I do, I will just completely flip out, and it's going to be amazing. And because I mean, obviously, having written fan fiction myself, I know how much time and effort and love that it takes to write a fan fiction about something. So to know that someone cares that much about something that I've written and I've created is just a really amazing feeling. And I have legitimately said on Twitter, and I still stand by this, the first person to write me a coffee shop AU of Matt and Ben gets a free book. I'm not joking around.
I'll be doing that
I
this
need it
evening.
in my life.
Tim, yourself?
Yeah, I've been contacted by people who want to write fan fiction about Peter Hudson, and yeah, it's great. I mean, it's flattering, like when themselves. I know there's some fan fiction out there with Peter Hudson and Percy Jackson. I've not read it, but they go off and have battles together, so that's great fun. And had a young lady email me a couple of weeks ago and said that did you have permission to write about Peter Hudson, who has a younger sister, and they go off out adventures? And I said, sure. Because again, it's people using their imagination, and that's how I started writing, so yeah, love it.
Very much,
People
guys.
tweet at me and ask me if they can write dirty fan fiction. I'm like, do whatever you want. I don't care.
We have, we've just been
The answer is
told that
always
we're out of time. I have one last question to ask the panel before I hand over to them. You find out what this is. It's a question from Twitter. One word answer, please. Your favourite cheese? Yeah.
Gouda.
I'm lactose intolerant, so none.
Quark.
Brilliant.
There we go. Guys, each of these authors has been running a competition over the last few weeks, resulting in giveaways. They're all three of them going to announce their winners. Let's start with Tim.
It was Pamela Rosenstiel.
And what did she win?
She's won a signed copy of Flashes and some Peter Hudson books and other stuff like that.
Thank you very much. Lucy.
Mine is Eleanor Ford, and she's won a signed copy of the book and a poster of me in cosplay.
Thank you very much. And Rainbow.
Sean has won a Tiny Divine fangirl necklace, and Sean, you need to meet me at the signing right after this.
Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the chat. There will be a signing from all the authors somewhere very, very shortly. Thank you for your time. If you wouldn't mind putting your hands together for Tim O'Rourke, Lucy Saxon and Rainbow Rowell. My name is Andy Robb. Thank you very, very much.